Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the 808 podcast. It's a podcast where we interview business owners, CEOs, marketing people, whoever else I feel like. 4 questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds because 808 looks like Bob. And we missed the trees, but I'm moving, so the trees are in the garage right now. And here we go. Question number 1, in a couple sentences, tell me who you are and what do you do?
Hey, thanks for having me, Bob. My name is Keith Karchmar. I am in the life insurance business. I have my own firm called Karchmar Group. I've been in the life insurance business for just about 15 years now. And basically, we help people preserve wealth, whether it's business owners transferring wealth, wealthy individuals transferring wealth, or mom and dads transferring wealth. It's all about protecting their wealth and efficiently transferring their wealth from one generation to the next.
Love it, Keith. Question number 2, what advice are you sharing? Go.
Yeah, there's 3 things I really want to share today as far as transferring wealth. The first part is estate taxes. Right now, the estate tax exemption for each individual is $11.7 million. So that comes out to $23.4 million for a married couple. So if you're a wealthy couple, now is the time to transfer as much money as you can out of your estate free of estate taxes. Currently, there's a big conversation going on in Washington about what to do with the estate taxes. Mm-hmm. And as President Biden has said many times, he wants to reduce those estate taxes back down to about $3.5 million per individual, $7 million per married couple. So that's going to leave a huge gap of people that are unprotected that have an estate anywhere between $7 to $23 million. That being said, the people that have an estate of $8 or $9 million are going to be hit hard with estate taxes when they're due after the second spouse passes away. So what we do is we sit down with those types of families and we prepare for the future. We set up all types of gifting strategies, planning strategies, life insurance strategies to transfer as much money as you can out of your estate. And if there is an estate tax, we set it up correctly via maybe an irrevocable trust or other type of vehicles that the assets can be transferred out of the estate when the spouse passes away and it's free of estate tax, thus leaving the heirs no liability to pay off the estate tax. And if there is an estate tax, the life insurance then is used to pay that estate tax.
Right. So let me ask you a quick question about that there. So let's just say 100% there. Again, this is not a political podcast. We're not going from the politics side. We're going from the fact side. So let's just say that 100% chance the tax increase is going to happen how Biden does it. What should someone be doing who is in that $1 million range? What should they start doing right now?
Yeah, very, very simple. They should be gathering a team of advisors. And there's 3 people that I would gather. I would gather an estate planning attorney, I would gather a CPA, and I would gather a life insurance professional. Not a financial advisor, but a life insurance professional. Because the life insurance is such a unique business. You need someone who specializes in that particular area, just like you need a lawyer that specializes in an estate planning area, and just like you need a CPA that understands the estate tax code, inside and out. And once you gather those teams of advisors, you should start bringing in an investment advisor to start projecting out their estate, maybe their businesses, and having a business evaluation done if they're business owners, so they can really put together a plan that is detail oriented. So if 100%, like you said, Biden reduces those estate taxes, they're properly prepared. They have a team of advisors around them. And more importantly, each one of their advisors knows what the plan is and they all work together cohesively.
Yeah, normally I tell someone, I tease them when they say, you should hire someone, but for something that complex, I'm going to give you a pass on that. Yes. A lot of times it says, well, how can I do this? Well, hire me. Well, no, that's not what we're looking for here. But yeah, this is a little more complicated than 5 minutes do it yourself type thing.
Yeah, exactly. You really need to have a good team of advisors that are all in sync, that understand their roles in advising the client and making sure that if something does happen to the client, everything kicks into gear like it's planned for.
Right. Makes a lot of sense there. I think it's time for question number 3. Keith, it is time for shout outs. And who are you shouting out today?
I'd like to shout out 2 people. The first one is Danny Schumann, the CEO of Twist LLC. He is a brand manager and a brand marketer. He is absolutely the best at helping someone write and create brand new websites, creating new brands and big ideas. He's a pleasure to work with, a lot of fun to work with, and he's just incredibly smart in the business. The other person I like to shout out, his name is Ned Spector of Happy Monday. He's a motivational speaker, and I like to call him the up-and-coming Tony Robbins. He is full of positive energy, has great positive mental attitude, and he is so much fun to be around. He has coached me through numerous instances. I was fortunate to be a guest on one of his shows. And if you're looking for a business coach, if you're looking for a motivational coach, Ned Spector of Happy Monday is the guy to go to.
Love it. Love it. Their question number 4, final fun question. Keith, tell me about your first sale.
Yes. So my first sale really dates back to 2005 in the business, when cold calling was still kind of popular back then.
Right.
And I happened to call a doctor in his office, and I told him I had a creative idea of how to use life insurance as a retirement plan. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I've never heard of that. Why don't you come into my office on my day off, which was a Tuesday, and you can discuss it with me. So I said, absolutely. And I obviously showed up at his office, and I explained to him how you can use life insurance, because the assets inside a cash value life insurance policy grow tax-free, and if structured properly, the withdrawals and loans are distributed tax-free as well. And once I explained the details to him and I supported it with the Internal Revenue Code section that supports that, he was really into it, and obviously bought the policy, and it's still in force today. And he hasn't retired yet because he was a young doctor at the time, but he's got about 4 more years of working, and that will probably be part of his retirement plan when he retires.
Love it. Love it there. So, hey, you've got 1 minute and 39 seconds left. You can do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about our great haircuts, or we can end early. Go for it.
Well, I think in regards to the life insurance business, one thing I don't want to get lost here is that life insurance is not just for the wealthy, it's for everyone. And it's a very overlooked product. Unfortunately, because I am in the business, I've seen untimely deaths. And that's just for simple mom and dad that are just looking for family protection. And so if you're a married couple and you have young kids and you're looking to make sure that if something happens to mom or dad, you want to have enough funds there, okay, to make sure that you don't have to move out of your house, that the mortgage is paid for, college education is paid for, and the income replacement of the deceased is applied as well to the death benefit. So for all those young families out there that are nervous that if something were to happen to mom or dad because you would lose that source of income, that's where life insurance really comes into play. And what I tell people all the time is, as a life insurance advisor, I can't replace you as a father, I can't replace you as a mother, I can't replace you as a husband or wife, but what I can do is replace the economic impact that the loss of your life will have on your family should anything happen to you.
Love it. Love it there. And you pulled it off. 4 questions at 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Keith, why is it 8 minutes and 8 seconds?
Because 808 looks like Bob.
Love it. Hey, your website, say it real quick.
www.karchmar.com.
It's in the description. It's magic. Keith, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you very much, Bob.
You're welcome. And for everyone else watching or listening, I am legally required to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, whatever the heck the social media network tells you to do. You all have a good one now. Talk to you later. Bye.